Okay, let's continue. Here we need f sub x. Remember, when we have len y from calculus 1, we said when we have len of u, the derivative it's 1 over u dash. So we have here, if we have f of x, y, z, e to the power xy times len z, so f sub x will be, now x is only the variable, so derivative of e is itself. Derivative of the power will be y, because y is constant now, so derivative of xy will be y, which is derivative of the power. Ya Allah. So the derivative of e is itself, the derivative of the power will be y, constant. Len z is constant. Now, if we want to find, this is one. Second, if we want to find of sub y, I have here f of x, y, z is e to the power xy times len z. So f sub y means our x and z constant. So derivative of e is itself e to the power xy. Derivative with respect to y here, it will be x. And len z is constant. Number 3, if I have again f of x, y, z is e to the power x, y times len z. So when we say f sub z means we deal with x and y constant. So e to the power xy, this is constant, the derivative of len z 1 over z. That's all. Now, same story here, but now we are dealing with second partial derivative. So if I have f of x, y is equal to x cubed plus x squared y cubed minus 2y squared. So what's f sub x? Means we deal with y as constant, so it will be 3x squared plus 2x y cubed minus 0. Now f sub x, x derivative again with respect to x, it will be what? Derivative with respect to x is 6x. The derivative with respect to x will be 2y cubed. This is the first one. Also from here, we can say f sub xy, which is equal to, now we differentiate here with respect to y. So derivative of 3x squared will be 0. The derivative with respect to y, it will be 3 times 2, which is 6. Again, x constant, y squared. That's f of x, y. Similarly, we can say if I have f sub xy is equal to x cubed plus x squared y cubed minus 2y squared, f sub y will equal to what? This is 0. That will be 3x squared y squared minus 4y. F sub y, y means we differentiate again with respect to y. That will be 2 times 3, which is 6x squared y minus 4. But if I want to differentiate f sub y x, means differentiating here now with respect to x, it will be 6x y squared constant, and that will be minus 0. Now, you can see these are equal. F of yx is equal to f of x y. That's one notation, but you have to be careful about one thing. When we say f of xy means we differentiate x then y. But when we say partial f, second partial derivative with respect to x with respect to y means we differentiate y then x. That's a convention. This is convention or agreement. Which means when we write it f sub xy means differentiate x then y, which means this means equal to f sub x then y. But here we differentiate with respect to y then x. It's a matter of convention only. Now here I want f sub x, x, y, z, so which means I should differentiate with respect to x first, then another x, then y, then z. So if I have f x, y, z equal to sine of 3x plus y times z, that will be f sub x first, which is equal to what? Derivative of sine. It's cosine of 3x plus yz times the derivative of the angle, which is 3. If I differentiate it with respect to x again, a derivative of cosine will be minus sine of 3x plus yz. A derivative of the angle is 3, so I will get here 3 times 3, which is 9. Now we want to differentiate it with respect to y. So I have x, then with respect to y. Now my variable is y, so derivative of sine will be cosine of 3x plus yz. But the derivative with respect to y will give me z. Now I need to differentiate it with respect to z. I have to consider now product rule, because here I have z and here I have another z. So derivative of the first will be minus 9 times the second. So that's the derivative of the first times the second plus the first, which is minus 9 z. That's the first. A derivative of the second, a derivative of cosine, it's minus sine 3x plus yz, and the derivative of the angle with respect to z, it will give me y. So finally we get the answer of x, y, z is equal to minus 9 cosine 3x plus yz. Minus times minus will be plus 9z y sine of 3x plus y z. Now find the first partial derivatives. If we have here g of x y is equal to x cubed times sine y, so g sub x means x is variable, so it will be 3x squared times sine y. Now when I say g of xy equal to x cubed sine y, When I say g sub y means x is constant, so that will be x cubed as it is. Derivative of sine is cosine y, but derivative of the angle is 1, so that's g sub y. Now, here we have g of x y is equal to y times x plus x squared y to the power 5. When I differentiate with respect to x, I have a chain rule because I have the power and inside the power. I'm dealing with y to be constant, so derivative of g with respect to x, y is constant. A derivative of the power, it will be 5 x plus x squared y to the power what? 4. A derivative of the inside with respect to x, it will be 1 plus 2xy. That's the derivative of the inside. So that's the derivative of the outside, which is 5 to the power 4. A derivative of the inside with respect to x, a derivative of x is 1, a derivative of x equals 2x times the constant. Okay, now that is regarding g of x, which is g of x. I'm just rewriting it. It's 5 times y times 1 plus 2xy times x plus x squared y to the power 4. Now, what is if we have g of xy equals to y x plus x squared y to the power 5? I need g sub y. So I will say here we have to be careful because I have here a product rule. I have f times g because here it contains y, here it contains y, so we will apply the product rule. A derivative of the first, which is y, a derivative of y is 1. That's the derivative of the first times the second, x plus x squared y to the power 5, plus the first, which is y. A derivative of the second, we have to apply the chain rule again. It will be derivative of the outside, 5 x plus x squared y to the power 4. A derivative of the inside, a derivative of the inside with respect to y, derivative of x is 0. A derivative of x squared times y will be x squared. So basically we say this is a power, so derivative of the power will be that one. A derivative of inside the power with respect to y, it will be that one. So that will be all of it a derivative of, let me use another letter. So let me say here it's f times h, so it will be f dash times h and f h dash. So finally we get g sub y is equal to x plus x squared y to the power 5 plus 5 y x squared x plus x squared y to the power 4. Now, again, he wants the first partial derivative. So he gave me g of xy is equal to x cubed y z squared plus 2 y z. So it's a function of g of x y z. So the first derivative he mean Derivative with respect to x means y and z are constant. So the derivative with respect to x is a 3x squared, y and z constant plus 0. When I differentiate with respect to y, means now x and z constant, so I will have x cubed z squared, that's the constant. The derivative of y will be times 1. A derivative here 2z is constant, the derivative of y is 1. So that will be equal to x cubed z squared plus 2z. Now, if I want g sub z, g sub z means I'm dealing with x and y constant, so x cubed y is constant. The derivative of z it's 2z plus y is constant. The derivative of z is equal to 1, so g sub z will equal to 2 times y times z times x cubed plus 2y, and so on. So it's the same story. Here I have r is a function of s and t, which is equal to t e to the power, I will rewrite s over t to be s over t raised to the power minus 1. So if I want to find r sub t, means I have product rule f times e, derivative of the first times the second. So that's the derivative of the first times the second, plus the first a derivative of the second. The derivative of e is itself, but the derivative of the power, it will be minus, this is s constant, t raised to the power minus 2. So r sub t will become e raised to the power s over t plus, of course, this is a derivative of second. It will be plus times minus will be minus s times t times t raised to the power minus 2 e raised to the power s over t, which means r of t is equal to e to the power s over t minus s over t, because we have here 1 minus 2 is minus 1 going to in downward, so over s over t. Now this is s, this is t, so s over t will be equal to 0 over 1, which is equal to what? 0. So r of t at 0 and 1 means we are replacing s by 0, t by 1, so it will be e to the power 0 minus 0 e to the power 0, which will be equal to 1 minus 0, which is 1. Now, I have here f sub xy is equal to y sine inverse of x y. I need to remind you about math calculus 1. When I have sine inverse of u, what was the derivative? The derivative was 1 over square root of 1 minus u squared times u dash. So f sub y means I'm dealing with y as a variable, so I have product rule, I have here 1 times 2, a derivative of the first times the second. So that's the derivative of the first times the second, plus the first, which is y. The derivative of the second, it's 1 over square root 1 minus the angle squared, which is x squared y squared, a derivative of the angle itself, a derivative with respect to x, it will be y. Oh, sorry, we are differentiating with respect to y, so it will be x. So all of this is a derivative of second. I'm repeating now. I have here product rule because I'm differentiating with respect to y. So derivative of the first is 1 times the second. Then we say the first, which is y. A derivative of sine inverse is 1 over square root 1 minus the angle squared. A derivative of the angle with respect to y, it's x. So f sub y becomes sine inverse of xy plus x times y divided by square root of 1 minus x squared y squared. If I want f sub y at the point 1 and 1 half, means I need to replace x by 1 and y by 1 half, so it will be sine inverse of 1 half plus 1 half over square root of 1 minus x times y. We said it's 1 half, so when we square it, it will be 1 over 4. Okay, what is sine inverse of 1 half? If you go to the, you can use your calculator, that's easier by the triangle. So this is 2 1 square root of 3. We know sine pi over 6 is equal to half. So sine inverse of half will be pi over 6. If you put it in your calculator but use the system to be radian because this is real numbers, so that will be pi over 6. And here we have 1 half square root of 3 over 4. So that's it, pi over 6 plus 1 half divided by square root 3 over 2, which is equal to pi over 6 plus 1 half 3. So it will be pi over 6 plus 1 over root 3. Anyway, these calculations, you can put it in your calculator. Okay, so he need the second partial derivative, all the second partial derivative. He said here f of xy is equal to x to the power 4 times y minus 2x cubed y squared. Okay, so what is f sub x? F sub x, we deal with y to be constant, it will be 4x cubed times y minus 6x squared y squared constant. F sub xx will be 12x squared y minus 12xy squared. Now, f sub xy, differentiating now this one with respect to y, it will be 4x cubed and minus 2 times 6 is 12x squared y. Now, doing the same thing, I have f of xy is equal to x to the power 4y minus 2x cubed y squared. If I differentiate with respect to y, I'll get x to the power 4 because x to the power 4 constant minus 2x cubed times 2y. So that will be equal to x to the power 4 minus 4x cubed y. If I differentiate it with respect to y again, I will get 0 minus 4x cubed. If I differentiate here y with respect to x, I will get 4x cubed minus 12x squared y, which is the same as that one. So f of yx equal to f of xy in all continuous function. Again, he said here, find this all second partial derivative. So to go to second partial derivative, we have to do first the first derivative. So I have here f of x y. I will rewrite it as y times 2x plus 3y to the power minus 1. So if I deal with x, derivative with respect to x, this is constant y. Derivative with respect to x will be derivative of the outside, which is minus 1, 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2. Derivative of the inside will be 2. So f sub x will be basically it's 2 negative 2y 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2. If I differentiate it with respect to x again, it will be minus 2 times minus 2, it's 4y, 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 3. A derivative of the inside with respect to x, it's 2, so f sub x will be 8y over 2x plus 3y to the power 3. Okay, now if I want to find f sub xy, so from here I will say f sub xy, I will have product rule. This is first, that's the second. So derivative of the first, it's minus 2 times the second, which is basically 2x plus 3y raised to the power 2. Okay, plus the first one, which is minus 2y, the derivative of the second will be minus 2, 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 3. A derivative of the inside with respect to y, it will be 3. So you will get f of xy is equal to minus 2 over 2x plus 3y to the power 2. And here you will have minus times minus will be plus. Here you have 4 times 3, which is 12y over 2x plus 3y to the power 3. Now, if we say I have f of x, y, which is equal to y times 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 1, differentiating with respect to y, that's product rule. Derivative of the first is 1 times the second which is 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 1. That's the derivative of the first times second. Okay. Now, plus the first, the derivative of the second, it will be minus 1. Again, here we have chain rule, 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2. The derivative of the inside will be 3. Now, that will be f sub y is equal to 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 1. And here I have minus 3y times 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2. Now, what is f sub y? Differentiating with respect to y again, here I will have minus, it's chain rule. The derivative of the inside is a 3, 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2. Okay, so it's the derivative for the outside, it will be minus raised to the power minus 2. Derivative of the inside is a 3. Here I have product rule. The derivative of the first will be minus 3 times the second, which is 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 2, so that's the derivative of the first times second plus the first, which is minus 3y. A derivative of the second will be minus 2 ra- ra- minus 2 2x plus 3y raised to the power minus 3. The derivative of the inside is 3. I'll leave it for you to simplify. Okay, I'll stop here and we'll continue in once I arrive at my office again. هلا أهلين. Okay, done again. Bye. Okay, guys, so we'll continue once I arrive at my office. Okay, so let me just switch off the camera stop.